Breathing is one of the most incredible things our bodies do, and we do it all day, every day, without even thinking about it. Consider this: you are breathing right now. It's the simple act of taking air into our bodies and then pushing it back out. This process is called respiration, and it's absolutely essential for life. Every single living moment, from when we are running around a park to when we are fast asleep in our beds, depends on this constant, gentle rhythm of breathing in and breathing out. It's the automatic superstar of our body's many functions, working quietly in the background to keep the whole show running smoothly and efficiently. So why is this simple act so important for us? Well, the air all around us is filled with something amazing called oxygen. Oxygen is like the fuel that powers every tiny part of our bodies, from our brains, that help us think, to our muscles that help us move. Our bodies need a constant supply of this oxygen to create energy, grow, and repair themselves. Without it, our internal systems would quickly run out of power and stop working. Breathing is the brilliant delivery system that brings this vital oxygen from the outside world directly into our bodies, where it can get to work keeping us healthy and full of life. Now let's think about our lungs. Our lungs are like two big spongy balloons located safely inside our chest. They are the main characters in the story of breathing. When we breathe in, these lungs fill up with air, getting bigger and expanding, just like a balloon you might blow up for a party. When we breathe out, they get smaller again as the air is pushed out. This amazing process of inflation and deflation happens thousands of times each day. It's a remarkable feat of natural engineering designed perfectly to capture the oxygen we need from every single breath we take. Understanding how our lungs inflate is a fantastic way to appreciate the science happening inside our own bodies. It's a beautiful dance of muscles and bones all working together in perfect harmony. In the next sections, we are going to take a closer look at the step-by-step mechanics of this process. We will explore the amazing journey air takes to get into our lungs, and we will meet the powerful muscles that make it all happen. So take a deep breath and let's dive into the science of how we breathe. It's going to be an incredible scientific adventure. When you decide to take a breath in, a fascinating journey begins. The whole process starts when air from the world around you enters your body through your nose or your mouth. From there, the air travels down a special tube in your throat called the trachea, which is also sometimes known as the windpipe. This tube is the main highway for air heading to your lungs. It's strong and flexible, making sure there is always a clear path for the air to follow. Think of it as the first step on an important delivery route. That precious, oxygen-filled air ready for its final destination inside your chest. After traveling down the trachea, the air doesn't just stop. The trachea splits into two smaller tubes called bronchi. One bronchus goes into your left lung and the other one goes into your right lung, but the journey doesn't end there. Inside the lungs, these bronchi continue to branch out into even smaller and smaller tubes, kind of like the branches of a giant tree. These tiny little pathways are called bronchioles. This intricate network of tubes ensures that the air can be distributed evenly and deeply throughout the entire area of both of your lungs, reaching every part of them. At the very end of these tiny bronchiole branches, there are millions of little air sacs. These are called alveoli. You can picture them as incredibly small, microscopic balloons clustered together like bunches of grapes. This is where the really important magic happens. When the air you breathed in finally reaches these tiny sacs, the oxygen from the air can pass through their super thin walls. It moves directly into your blood, which is flowing in tiny blood vessels wrapped all around the alveoli. This is the critical exchange point where your body finally gets the oxygen it has been waiting for. So, to put it all together, the simple act of breathing in initiates a complex and highly efficient delivery system. Air is pulled in, travels down the windpipe, splits into the two main bronchi, spreads out through the thousands of smaller bronchioles, and finally arrives at millions of alveoli. It is at this final destination that the life-giving oxygen is transferred to your blood, ready to be transported all over your body. This entire journey happens in just a couple of seconds, every single time you take a nice deep breath of fresh air. It's a truly amazing system. Now, you might be wondering what actually makes the air move into your lungs. It doesn't just flow in on its own. The main hero of this story is a big, powerful muscle located just below your lungs. This muscle is called the diaphragm. When you are resting and not thinking about breathing, Your diaphragm is shaped like a dome, kind of like an upside-down bowl. It separates your chest area, where your heart and lungs are, from your abdomen, where your stomach and intestines are. This muscle is the primary engine that drives the entire process of breathing in, doing most of the heavy lifting. When you get ready to take a breath in, your brain sends a signal to your diaphragm. In response, this powerful muscle contracts and flattens out. Instead of being a high dome, it moves downward, becoming much flatter. This downward movement is a really big deal because it makes the space inside your chest cavity much larger. Think about it. By pulling the floor of your chest down, the diaphragm instantly creates more room. This simple action is the first and most crucial step in making your lungs inflate with air. It's a powerful, deliberate movement that sets everything else in motion. This increase in chest space creates something scientists call a vacuum, or negative pressure. Because there is suddenly more room inside your chest, the pressure inside your lungs becomes lower than the air pressure outside your body. Science tells us that air, like other gases, always wants to move from an area of higher pressure to an area of lower pressure. So, because the pressure outside is now higher, air from the atmosphere is naturally pulled into your nose and mouth and rushes down into your lungs to fill up that empty space. Your lungs don't suck the air in, the change in pressure pulls it in for them. So the diaphragm is the true powerhouse of inhalation. By contracting and moving downward, it single-handedly increases the volume of your chest, which in turn lowers the pressure inside your lungs. This pressure difference is what causes air to flood into your respiratory system, filling the lungs all the way down to the tiny alveoli. When you breathe out, the diaphragm simply relaxes, moving back up to its dome shape, which helps push the air back out. It's an elegant and powerful system, all centered around the simple, rhythmic movement of this one amazing muscle. While the diaphragm does most of the work, it has some important partners that help out: your ribs and the muscles between them. Your rib cage is the bony structure that protects your heart and lungs. Attached between each of your ribs are special muscles called intercostal muscles. When you take a breath in, these muscles also get a signal from your brain. They contract and pull your rib cage upwards and outwards, away from your body. This action further helps to expand the size of your chest cavity, giving your lungs even more room to fill up with air. Imagine your chest as a flexible box. The diaphragm pulls the bottom of the box down, and the intercostal muscles pull the sides and top of the box up and out. Both of these actions work together to make the box as big as possible. This teamwork between the diaphragm and the ribcage muscles ensures that you can take a really deep, full breath when you need to, like when you are exercising or running. The more your chest can expand, the more air your lungs can hold, and the more oxygen you can get to your hard-working muscles. This entire process of lung inflation is absolutely vital for keeping us healthy and alive. As we've learned, its main job is to bring oxygen into our bodies. This oxygen is picked up by our red blood cells and transported through our bloodstream to every single cell in our body. Your brain cells need it to think, your heart cells need it to pump blood, and your leg muscles need it to walk and run. Without a constant supply of oxygen delivered by our lungs, our bodies simply couldn't produce the energy they need to perform all of their amazing functions. Ultimately, efficient breathing is the foundation of good health. Every time our lungs inflate correctly, they are successfully delivering the fuel our body needs to thrive. This process also helps us get rid of a waste gas called carbon dioxide, which is what we push out when we exhale. So by understanding how our lungs, diaphragm, and ribs work together, we can appreciate the incredible science that keeps us going every second of the day. Taking a deep, clean breath is one of the best things you can do for your body. Science is all around us and even inside us.